This is a truth most hospitals would rather avoid. It's a reality pharmaceutical companies, and perhaps even major food corporations, would prefer to keep hidden. Because it's so ingrained in our daily lives, we've become accustomed to it, 'cause it seems so simple. Its profound importance is often underestimated. This is a forgotten secret. My name is Dr. Johnathan Miller, and I'm 85 years old. My entire career has been dedicated to battling endocrine diseases. As a physician for over 60 years, I've witnessed countless patients' lives crumble, and sometimes miraculously recover. Through these decades, I've come to one clear, undeniable conclusion. A patient's blood sugar levels and their overall energy are largely determined by the very first meal of their day. Managing blood sugar isn't just about medication, nor is it achieved by simply eating diabetes-friendly foods. That first intake of energy after a night's rest breakfast acts like a conductor, orchestrating the flow of blood sugar throughout the entire day. The wrong breakfast can send blood sugar on a wild, erratic journey, exhausting our bodies, insulin system, and ultimately opening the door to chronic inflammation and disease. What did you eat this morning? Have you ever considered that the foods you consume without thinking might not be the nourishing fuel you believe them to be, but rather a slow poison making your body sick? Today, I want to share the breakfast truths that no one ever properly explained, drawing on my years of experience. Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Johnathan Miller. I spent my career as a professor of endocrinology at a major university medical center, and I'm now Professor Emeritus. I also direct a small research institute. At 85, I still see patients 3 days a week, and on weekends, you'll find me tending my vegetable garden. People often ask me for my secret to good health. I never point to pills or special regimens. Instead, I share my breakfast story, because a good morning builds a good day, and good days accumulate into a healthy life. I wasn't always confident about my own health. In my 50s, during my most demanding research period, while also seeing patients, I thought I was eating the healthiest breakfast. On busy mornings, it was a quick bowl of cereal with milk and a glass of orange juice. If I had more time, perhaps toast with jam. I genuinely believed this was a balanced diet. But the body is honest. Less than 2 hours after breakfast, around 11 a.m., my fingers would often tremble slightly. My mind would feel foggy, and I'd struggle to concentrate. I'd be hungry long before lunchtime. During afternoon clinic hours, I'd experience overwhelming fatigue. At the time, I attributed it to overwork or simply getting older and losing stamina. I never imagined that these seemingly healthy foods were creating a daily blood sugar roller coaster inside me, what we call a glucose spike. Even I, a doctor, was completely unaware. Do you, too, accept post-meal fatigue as just a normal part of life? The decisive realization came from one of my patients, Mrs. Susan Peterson. She was in her 70s, a diabetic whose blood sugar remained poorly controlled despite increasing medication. One day, she walked into my clinic, beaming. "Okay, doctor," she said, "I changed my breakfast, and my whole day is different. My mood, which used to be like a stormy sea, is now like a calm lake." She explained she'd stopped her daily toast and orange juice, switching to scrambled eggs, a small portion of black beans, and some spinach. The moment I heard that, it was as if a hammer struck my head. I always emphasized the importance of dietary habits to my patients, yet I had overlooked the most fundamental aspect myself. From that day on, I cleared the bread and cereal from my own breakfast table. I switched to 2 scrambled eggs with unsweetened almond milk and a side of avocado with mixed greens. The first day felt strange, the second a bit empty, but by third morning, my body began to react miraculously. The morning fatigue and hand tremors that had plagued me vanished. I could concentrate fully on my patients right through to lunchtime. This small change brought astonishing results, and today I'm going to share this, along with the core secrets gleaned from my 60 years of experience with all of you. If you're interested in the fundamental wisdom of transforming your body, my sharing today will guide you. So please subscribe to the Longevity Living channel and hit the like button so you don't miss out on wisdom for a lifetime of health. 5. Breakfast foods to banish for better blood sugar. First, let's talk about 5 foods many of us believe are healthy, but which can actually disrupt our morning blood sugar. You might be shocked. These are the items to clear from your breakfast table starting tomorrow. 1. Cereal with milk. Many opt for cereal on busy mornings for convenience, especially those marketed as healthy or whole grain. However, most cereals are made from finely milled corn or wheat, processed at high temperatures and pressures of classic refined carbohydrate. To make them palatable, large amounts of sugar or high fructose corn syrup are often added. How does this cereal and milk combination affect your body? The easily digestible refined carbohydrates combined with the lactose in milk cause a very rapid spike in blood sugar. Mrs. Linda Carter, a patient in her 60s who came to my clinic recently, ate cornflakes every morning, believing them to be healthy. Her blood sugar test showed a post-meal reading over 200 milligrams DL 1 hour after eating a typical glucose spike. You must eat cereal, choose minimally processed, unsweetened whole oats, and consume them in small quantities. Even then, don't eat them alone. Pair them with nuts or seeds to add protein and fat, slowing down the glucose rise. Most importantly, get into the habit of checking the nutrition label on the back. Avoid products high in sugar. 2. White bread, bagels, muffins, and pastries. These are staples on American breakfast tables. A slice of toast, or a bagel with coffee, or a leftover muffin seems like a simple way to fill up. But these foods share a common trait. They are refined carbohydrates. Foods made from white flour have had the nutritious bran and germ removed, leaving little more than pure starch. This converts rapidly to glucose in the body, causing an explosive rise in blood sugar. Soft white bread, bagels, and pastries require minimal chewing, speeding up digestion and absorption even more. My patient, Mr. Robert Davis, ate a bagel with cream cheese every morning. His blood sugar was completely out of control, eventually requiring insulin. Without changing his breakfast, no amount of medication could manage his soaring blood sugar. If you must have bread, choose a dense, 100% whole grain bread, and don't eat it alone. Pair it with vegetables, eggs, or avocado to slow the glucose absorption. Remember, the moment the grain's protective outer layer is stripped away, its health benefits often go with it. 3. Coffee on an empty stomach. Many office workers reach for coffee first thing in the morning for a jolt of energy. However, drinking coffee on an empty stomach can place considerable stress on the body. The caffeine in coffee stimulates gastric acid secretion, irritating the stomach lining, which can lead to gastritis or acid reflux. It poses an even greater problem for blood sugar. Caffeine stimulates the sympathetic nervous system, promoting the release of stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. These hormones cause the liver to release stored glucose into the bloodstream, instantly raising both blood sugar and blood pressure. Mr. Michael Chan, a man in his 70s who didn't eat sweets, nevertheless had high fasting blood sugar. Closer look at his habits revealed his routine of drinking 2 strong black coffees every morning was the culprit. Coffee should ideally be consumed 30 minutes to an hour after breakfast. For those with gastrointestinal issues or sensitivity to blood sugar fluctuations, consider switching to decaffeinated coffee. A healthy diet, not caffeine, should be what wakes you up in the morning. 4. Sugary smoothies, instant oatmeal, and other easily consumed liquid foods. As people age, digestive function can decline, and dental issues may arise, leading to a preference for easily swallowed liquid or soft foods. Fruit, smoothies, or nutritional breakfast drinks might seem healthy, and instant oatmeal packets are quick. However, The biggest pitfall of these foods is that they often bypass the crucial step of chewing. Our digestive process begins in the mouth with the secretion of digestive enzymes like amylase and saliva. Foods that are drunk or swallowed without thorough chewing skip this preparatory digestive phase and go straight to the stomach, causing blood sugar to rise faster and higher. Mrs. Eleanor Vance, an 80-year-old patient, was given sugary meal replacement shakes by her children every morning. Her post-meal blood sugar soared to 250 milligrams DL. The food intended for her health was actually harming her blood sugar. Even if it takes more time, breakfast should consist of solid foods that require chewing. The act of chewing thoroughly awakens the brain, promotes satiety, and stimulates digestive enzyme secretion, all of which play a decisive role in stabilizing blood sugar. Are you inadvertently consuming these types of foods? 5. Sweet potatoes or other starchy carbs alone on an empty stomach. Sweet potatoes are rich in dietary fiber and are well-known healthy carbohydrates. But even good foods depend on when and how you eat them. Sweet potatoes contain compounds that, when consumed on an empty stomach, can stimulate the stomach lining, leading to excessive gastric acid secretion and stomach pain for some. Moreover, the glycemic index of sweet potatoes, especially when baked or mashed, is higher than many realize. Eating them alone on an empty stomach can cause a sharp rise in blood sugar. This is something diabetics or those needing blood sugar management should avoid for their first meal. Ms. Sarah Jenkins, a woman in her 40s who was trying to lose weight, replaced her breakfast with a large baked sweet potato each morning. While her weight dropped slightly, her fasting blood sugar actually rose to a concerning level. If you enjoy sweet potatoes, it's best to have them in smaller portions, perhaps as part of a balanced meal later in the day, or as a snack when blood sugar is stable. Preparation methods also matter. Raw or boiled sweet potatoes tend to have a slightly lower glycemic impact than baked or mashed 0.3 breakfast tonics to embrace for stable blood sugar. So, why should we eat? Based on my 60 years of clinical experience and personal confirmation, here are 3 of the best breakfast options to stabilize morning blood sugar and provide sustained energy throughout the day. 1. Eggs. The complete food eggs are one of the most perfect breakfast foods. Firstly, they are a quintessential high-protein, low-carbohydrate food that barely raises blood sugar, yet provides significant satiety. 1 egg contains about 6 to 7 grams of high-quality protein. Eating eggs in the morning can reduce hunger until lunchtime, effectively preventing overeating. The choline in egg yolks is a crucial component of brain cell membranes, aiding memory and concentration. Lecithin helps regulate blood cholesterol levels and aids in fat breakdown. Many people used to avoid eggs due to cholesterol concerns, but recent research indicates that dietary cholesterol has little impact on blood cholesterol levels for most individuals. Mr. George Williams, an 8-year-old patient of mine who consistently eats 2 eggs every morning, proudly states he has the best memory and vitality among his peers. Eggs are best boiled, steamed, or scrambled with minimal oil, paired with spinach, bell peppers, or other vegetables. They also provide vitamins and minerals, perfect combination. 2. Beans and legumes. Steak of the prairie. Beans and legumes are the pinnacle of plant-based protein and are exceptionally beneficial for blood sugar management. Their rich protein and dietary fiber are digested and absorbed slowly in the gastrointestinal tract, maintaining satiety for a long time and preventing sharp rises in blood sugar. In particular, the isoflavones found in soy products can promote vascular health and reduce inflammation markers. There are many ways to incorporate beans into your morning meal. On a busy morning, a glass of unsweetened, additive-free soy milk or almond milk is an excellent protein supplement. With a little more time, lightly blanched tofu drizzled with sesame oil and a touch of soy sauce, or a tofu scramble instead of grains, works well. Even a small serving of black beans or lentils alongside eggs can be a great addition. If preparing a soup like a lentil soup, though less common for American breakfast, be mindful of sodium content. Focus on the beans as a side rather than a salty broth. Even a spoonful of hummus with some vegetable sticks can contribute. Don't be shy if some of these are new to your breakfast routine. For your health, it's worth exploring. 3. Unsweetened Greek yogurt. Concentrated protein yogurt is renowned as a health food. But depending on the product you choose, it can be either medicine or poison. I recommend not just any yogurt, but specifically Greek yogurt. Greek yogurt is made by straining away the watery part of milk, resulting in a product with more than double the protein content of regular yogurt and a much thicker consistency. Its high protein content provides significant satiety with a smaller serving, making it effective for controlling breakfast portion sizes. Furthermore, it's rich in probiotics, which help improve gut health and boost immunity. My patient, Miss Patricia Miller, who originally struggled with appetite control, switched her breakfast to Greek yogurt. Her overall food intake naturally decreased, and her snacking habits disappeared when choosing Greek yogurt. 2 things are crucial. First, always select unsweetened or plain varieties. Fruit-flavored versions contain considerable amounts of sugar and can spike blood sugar. Second, make it a habit to check the nutrition label. Aim for products with less than 5 grams of sugar per 100 gram serving, or a similar ratio for standard American serving sizes. Pairing it with a small amount of berries or almonds can enhance both taste and nutrition. The glucose spike. Your silent enemy. Which of these 3 breakfast options will you choose tomorrow morning? Why do I emphasize breakfast so much? Precisely because of the danger of the glucose spike, or blood sugar roller coaster. This refers to the phenomenon where blood sugar skyrockets after a meal and then plummets sharply. Imagine our body after an overnight fast, in a calm, lake-like state of blood sugar. Then, starting in the morning, we bombarded with refined carbohydrate bombs like sugary cereals, white bread, or fruit juice. Blood sugar levels shoot up vertically like a roller coaster. To handle this emergency, our pancreas frantically secretes large amounts of insulin. Emergency deployment of insulin. Success. Insulin rapidly shoves glucose from the blood into cells, causing blood sugar to drop sharply. The problem is, this process happens so abruptly that blood sugar can fall below the normal range into a hypoglycemic state. This is the blood sugar crash. At this point, our body experiences symptoms like shakiness, cold sweats, extreme hunger, and unbearable fatigue. The brain, mistakenly thinking it's low on energy, craves more sweets, trapping us in a cycle of false hunger. This is the beginning of a vicious cycle. Inability to concentrate in the morning, overeating at lunch, and lethargy in the afternoon. When these glucose spikes are repeated daily, tiny injuries occur on the inner lining of our blood vessels, causing inflammation. The pancreas, exhausted from constantly pumping out insulin, gradually becomes less effective, leading to insulin resistance, paving a superhighway towards diabetes. A morning glucose spike doesn't just ruin your day. It's a silent killer that increases the risk of obesity, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, even dementia and cancer. But the beginning of this tragedy can be stopped with just one meal: breakfast. Our body is like an honest recorder, faithfully logging what we eat and how we start our day. If we begin calmly, the whole day will be recorded as calm. These calm days accumulate to complete the book of a healthy, vibrant life. So please, carefully reconsider what I've said today. It's slice of bread you casually grab, that bowl of cereal, that sweet glass of juice. They aren't just simple foods. You should now understand, they are enemies disguised with a sweet facade, yet hiding sharp claws, attacking our body's blood sugar regulation system every morning. Foods eaten for the sake of health might actually be tiring out your pancreas and wounding your blood vessels. You might feel betrayed, But there's no need for self-blame because no one ever properly told us. What's important is that today, at this very moment, you know the truth. Conversely, what about the foods I recommended today? Eggs, beans, Greek yogurt? They aren't fancy or intensely flavored, but like diligent, honest workers, these foods lay a solid foundation for a stable start to our body's day. My patients who change their breakfast commonly report, "Doctor, my head is clearer in the morning. My habit of overeating at lunch has disappeared. I'm not as tired in the afternoon as I used to be." These changes are the natural response of our body when blood sugar flows steadily like a calm river without wild fluctuations. Most importantly, all these choices are ultimately aimed at stopping our body's greatest enemy, the glucose spike. What happens inside our blood vessels when glucose spikes are repeated? High levels of glucose in the blood act like sharp shards of glass, constantly scraping the inner walls of our blood vessels. Our body initiates an inflammatory response to heal these wounds. In this process, blood vessels gradually harden and narrow. The pancreas, thrown into an emergency state every morning, becomes exhausted trying to produce enough insulin. If this situation persists for years, it eventually leads to diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, atherosclerosis, and subsequently terrifying diseases like heart attacks, strokes, and dementia. My choice this morning determines the health of my blood vessels and brain function 10, 20 years from now. This fact must be remembered. If you deeply internalize this, what I've emphasized today will become even clearer. Your path to a healthier morning and life. Let's reiterate today's core message. 5 poisons on the breakfast table to avoid: sugar-laden cereals, refined carbohydrate bombs like white bread, bagels, and pastries, coffee on an empty stomach that tortures both stomach and blood sugar, liquid foods like sugary smoothies that bypass chewing, and starchy items like plain sweet potatoes or large bagels eaten alone on an empty stomach. 3 tonics that rescue our body to remember: the complete food eggs, steak of the prairie, beans and legumes, key, and concentrated protein, unsweetened Greek yogurt, key. These will stabilize blood sugar and fuel your day.